tardes, buenos días, buenas noches. Y seguimos aquí en otro episodio en What the Peg. I want to thank everybody at home for joining us today. The goal for the podcast is for us to have a little, plant the seed of sustainability. And that's hence the little catchphrase that we came up with. That is like sustainability speaks louder. So just keep that in mind. That's what it's about. And we're excited. We're getting this going. So yeah. That being said, again, we have a really special guest, a friend that came to visit us today, and his name is Victor. Victor, thank you for coming today. And Victor is we're going to talk a little bit about what Victor does and what he's all about. But he's part of the community here in Laredo. We also have our friend Sophie.
Hola, ¿cómo están?
Sofía, y mi compadre Rafita.
¿Cómo están, amigos?
La cámara está allá. Nada,
Hablándole a la pared.
Y pues sí, antes de que se me olvide, ahorita le cambiamos poquito la cervecita. Vamos a estar tomando. A mí me tocó whisky.
Yo café.
Cafecito.
De dosis.
White Claw.
Whiskito.
Y otro whiskito. Y allá en casita, la hora que sea, ya sea es de mañana, de noche, de tarde. Acompáñenos con algo, relájense, de eso se trata, de poder pues platicar un poquito de todo esto de la sustentabilidad y la comunidad que nos rodean aquí en What the Peg. Y pues qué mejor hacerlo con un poquito de alcohol. Pero no tiene que ser alcohol, si tienen un cafecito, no toman, ¿verdad? Algo saludable, no sé, un juguito de naranja, de mango. ¿Qué más toman? Un smoothie.
Protein shake.
Un protein shake, ándale, si vienen llegando del gym, hacer el cardio, ya saben, con un protein shake. Entonces, pero sí, seguimos con Víctor. Víctor, muchas gracias por acompañarnos otra vez y pues sí, queremos... Víctor, lo que yo tengo entendido, Víctor, tú tienes aquí en Laredo, ayudas a muchos con lo que es el tinte de pelo. Paint, ¿cómo se dice?
Hair color?
Hair color.
Yeah.
Paint color.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
go
tint,
paint.
hair color, bleach.
Okay. So, I saw that I went through your Instagram and you have tons of pictures. So, I'm imagining that came from somewhere. You're starting off, or you feel like, I feel like you have a lot of following already and you have a lot of client base. So that's awesome for that, and cheers and
Thank you.
And congrats. So you grew up here in Laredo?
Yes, I'm born and raised.
Born and raised. What high school did you go to?
United South.
United South? Oh, okay. I went to I don't even know the one on. It's the best one here in Laredo. El mismo.
Which one?
The best one, Alexander.
Oh.
And then Rafita, ¿cuál fuiste, güey?
También fui Alexander.
Sí.
La mejor aquí en Laredo, ¿verdad?
Or so they say.
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm kidding.
United South, actually, I know they have a magnet school. It's like business, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome, dude. Like, those kids are, high schoolers right now. They're coming out of that school. Oye, se escucha de que donde
Tragas.
sí.
Sí, se escucha.
El gulp. And United South has really smart kids, man. Like, the teachers are doing an awesome job. I know I was part of this. I was like a judge at one of the. It's like super off topic, but like I want to like shout out to United South because they're doing a really good job, and I'm proud of them because I was a judge at one of the competitions for UISD that does. They do a finance competition where like you're buying and selling stocks and all, like,
wow.
It's pretty
And
pretty
the
interesting.
students?
Yeah, and they do a whole report at the end of the year. They do a report on the competition and why they scored, and you rate them, and then who that's a competition or whatever. So even if they didn't have the best numbers, but like they knew what they were doing, and like the reason, like, I was being really conservative because I had this thought, that thought, whatever. And dude, I'm like, you can tell who's from United South by the way they were presenting. Like, I didn't even need to know. I'm like, dude, this guy's what? Let me guess.
United South.
Yeah. So, cheers to them, and they're doing good. So, United South, and then you stayed here in Laredo. Did you start right after high school, or how did it go?
So I actually went to LC and TAMU both. I did a semester in each. I was actually studying to be a teacher at first.
Okay.
And then that didn't work out. And I think it was like 2 years after graduating that I took like a little break for a couple of months, and then I started beauty school.
Nice.
So yeah.
Where, here in Laredo?
I went to Laredo Chi Academy.
Chi Academy. And then that's where you. But before, let's backtrack a little bit. Before you started the Chi Academy, you were studying to do your thing with teaching. But then what sparked, or what was it that you were like, dude, my calling is
Doing hair?
Yeah.
So actually what happened was that while I was going to college, I was in TAMU, and I had dyed my hair silver. I wanted silver hair for like ever at the time. It was like the biggest trend.
Sí.
It was like the biggest trend ever. It was so hard to achieve. The hair has to be like almost white, if you don't want it to look green, or you don't want it to look patchy blue or
yellow.
whatever. It's really hard to do. And so it was really hard. I was self-taught right at home. And so the fact that I had accomplished it, I was like super proud and all happy. I got to my class, and it was my education class. And class went on, right, whatever. And then at the end of class, my professor was like, Mr. Acosta, can I have a word with you, whatever. Okay, so I come down, right? And so I'm super nervous because I'm like, why is he calling me if there's like 1 million students in this class, right?
Yeah.
And so I end up going down there, and he tells me like, hey, I don't want you to like take this personal or anything like that. But as you know, like next week we are volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club. And one of the requirements is for you to have a quote unquote natural hair color. And so my hair color was silver, but I guess like the undertone was like blue. So it had like a blue hue. So it was definitely not like, I guess like canas, if I wanted to find a loophole, it was not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I said, okay, that's fine. I just kind of played it off like I didn't care. Like it was like a whatever thing. And I walked out of class, and I called my mom immediately, and I started crying. Just because I was so like set on doing that I felt super discouraged of why I had to change my appearance instead of me.
You so like in being who you are, kind of.
Yeah. It was kind of like I was being forced to not express myself. I had to be like a perfect person because we're role models, for kids at the end of the day.
So it was like, that's crazy, because the best role model, I think, is truly who somebody's like that can be themselves.
Most authentically themselves.
So it's like, bro, you don't even know how hard it is to get to this tone, and you're telling me I need to.
Yeah, no, literally. And so I was like, I'm not about to take it off. Also, I was working at Build-A-Bear Workshop at the time, and we also had to have a natural hair color. But I convinced my manager to let me do it because I was like, it's gonna be like gray hairs, And eventually, once the tone faded, it definitely was. So that's how it worked out there, but just not in school.
That's crazy. I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I've never heard of somebody's having a policy that like you have to have natural hair color.
I guess it's just like teaching, and like if you go, like teachers can't have blue hair, purple hair, pink hair, even like red hair, they're like, okay, well, it has to be like a specific tone of red. For example, Karol G's hair, how it's really bright red? That's too much. Like they can't have it that red. And I know even now, they're a little bit more lenient, I guess. And I think it has a lot to do with who the principals are, like at your school and stuff, because they'll kind of like let it slide. Or maybe they're like, oh, that's such a good teacher, I don't even care. Like how they're dressed to work, Like I just care that they come and do their job.
Or if you go to United High School, you paint it orange and like your team spirit kind of thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, when I was in high school, I would dye my hair, and it was like oh my God thing. I even in middle school, I think one time I went in with blue hair, which was the first time I ever dyed my hair, and I went up to the attendance office. I don't remember why. I was probably absent or something, and one of the people there in the office like got mad at me, and they were like, "You can't be having I guess like spray paint." They thought it was spray paint, and so there was a little like fountain, I think, inside of the office. And so I literally went like this, and I put my fingers like while the water was coming out, and I touched my hair, and I'm like, it's not spray, like it's my hair. Yeah. And then they were kind of like, okay. So I left school, and I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, and my mom's always been like, don't mess with my kids, you know?
Yeah.
So she went up to the school and she's like, hey,
Babe.
don't be telling like my son like that he can't have X, Y, and Z. If you don't know, like next time don't be addressing something that like you don't know the facts to.
So Mama
And
Bear
that
was
was it.
like, hey,
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
awesome. So you were self-taught. So you now going back, that goes even back to high school where you were like, hey, I want to try some new color.
Mm-hmm.
And what sparked there? Like, was there something that you saw on TV? Or you
I would
heard?
watch YouTube a lot.
Okay.
And so at the time, I don't know, I guess I probably saw a video or something. Someone probably had colored hair. My favorite color has always been, well, one of my favorite colors is teal, which is
Okay.
the color that I use for my brand, you know? And so I was like, Mom, I want teal hair, I want teal hair. And so I just ended up looking at videos for like ever. My mom would give us like an allowance.
Yeah.
And so I used to live on Clark where Walmart and Target is at.
Okay.
And so we would go to either Walmart or Target, and my mom would let us like choose like a toy or choose something to spend our money that she gave us from our allowance.
Mhm.
So one day I chose to go to Target, but because Sally's Beauty was right there.
Oh.
So we would all kind of like separate, and then we would meet at the end. We would pay and then meet at the end. And so we get to Target, I let everybody separate and I kind of hide. And then I see my mom leaves, I go to Sally's Beauty, and the bags are red and white. So when we check out, they're like, well, they didn't think much of it because the bag was red and white. They thought it was from Target.
Yeah.
So I get home and it's like 11 p.m. on a school night. I was in 7th grade, I believe. And so in the morning when my mom wakes up, she sees me with blue. I had a mohawks and my tips were blue and like the little fringe in the front. Yeah, I had teal hair.
¿Tienes foto de eso?
I should have some pictures. I know I have one with like a friend, but
We
I
get-
do
La
have
mandas
pictures.
Armando para que lo
So they
ponga
can
en
put it, oh my God.
That'd be awesome, dude. That's awesome. So it's kind of like it was in you since like 7th grade, and you decided, hey, you know what, I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah.
And then that's awesome. So right now, then you said, okay, I'm gonna go to beauty school. How's beauty school? Because I know it's not easy, dude. People underestimate that because I know. I mean, people really. I mean, there's some people like myself that I just go cut my hair and dude, I don't care how they do it. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, just cut my hair.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, lo quieres el dos, el cuatro?" I'm like, no, but use clippers, and then that's it. And then, but now there's this lady that convinced me that she wanted like to use the machine,
Okay.
and I was like, I had never done it with machine, and then she's like, dude, let's just try it. So now she does whatever she wants. I'm like, whatever. And I'm like, okay.
Vamos a ver Álvaro cada
No,
semana.
literally a different haircut.
So yeah, so like, but I guess they save like little notes. They save little notes on
Like what you got
like,
done or what?
Yeah, so I guess they keep.
Oh, so
they
that
just-
the next time you go,
whoever you get,
they see and they're like, oh,
say-
so you like this, and this?
So they're like, oh, so this, and then I'm like, sure, try.
They're like,
it.
same as last time? Or
Yeah.
You're like, no, do whatever you want.
I'm like, yeah, and then they want to add like the one thing I won't let them do is like add gel or whatever.
Okay.
So I'm like, don't
Don't
add
mess with the
any of that.
products.
Yeah. But yeah, like I know it's not easy because where I was going is like I've had people fuck up my hair like really bad. So I'm like, dude, what the fuck did you do?
Yeah.
And I'm one of those. I'm like, dude, it'll grow, you know.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. But I've seen people like freaking get pissed and like
yeah.
go crazy.
It's like a big thing.
Dude, how do you do that? Like, have you heard people like getting refunds or no? Like, do you ask for that?
So the way I see it, like, me, for example, I don't do refunds at all, but I'll fix it for free if there's something that you don't like. So usually, a lot of the times when something like that happens, it's because it was miscommunication.
Okay.
Someone sits in your chair and they don't tell you,
Like,
hey, I
me.
want this. Yeah. And let's say maybe you're shy, you know, you sit down and they're just like, so what do we do? And you're like, and then she tells you, right? Oh, I'm going to do scissors on top, 2 on the sides, and then bald at the bottom, you know?
Yeah.
And so you're like, and then I don't know, for
It's like
example,
you didn't tell me anything.
yeah,
Kind of thing.
you're just like, yeah, you're agreeing. So then the person can have an idea of what they're gonna do on you, but if you're not specific or maybe even specifying on what you don't like,
Yeah.
Sí.
you don't necessarily have to tell them like, oh, I want this, and this. Say, I don't want
Like,
you to
don't
do
cut
this.
this. Don't
Sí.
cut
Don't touch here. Don't do there. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
And
that
that
gives
a
you
lot of the
better
times,
direction.
like that's where it kind of goes south. But like you said, it's just hair.
Do they
Everything
ever
is fixable.
Do they ever show you like a picture, Like, I want to be like her.
Yeah, and a lot of the times, I mean, I guess that's where social media comes in, but it's unrealistic.
Sí.
Oh, okay.
They want to look exactly like the photo. I'm like, okay, first of all, do you have the money for the extensions the person has on?
Sí.
Second of all, she's like a white girl, you know.
You need to fix
Their
your
hair's so
face.
easy to
Ah,
work
okay.
on.
Sí.
Like Latinos, Mexicans have a lot of red tones in their hair. So a lot of times they're like, I want to be platinum blonde.
Sí.
You know? And it's like, well, do you know how hard it's going to be to get you there?
Sí.
It's going to take me maybe 8 hours. And how much
shit.
do you think I'm going to charge you for the 8 hours? You know?
Sí.
And then you tell them the price and they don't want it.
Yeah.
They're like, and then the bad thing is we're right across the border. So they're like,
I'm gonna go
well,
to-
they do it across. And it's like, yeah, but the products that they have across are different from the ones here.
Yeah.
There's stuff that isn't approved by the whatever
FDA,
FDA,
whatever, yeah.
like to use here. I think they have up to 60 volume developer over there. The highest here is 40, you know, which even then is dangerous to. I almost never touch it.
Oh, shit.
I almost never use 40, yeah.
So, I mean, that sounds like technical stuff that I don't have. It's like over my head. But so you went over to. ¿Tú le entendiste eso de 40, 60?
No, porque nada más una vez me he pintado el cabello. Pero ahorita llegamos a ese tema.
Bueno, ¿tú te has pintado algo, Rick?
Nope.
No, nunca.
Would
Y
you?
una vez sí me pinté.
No.
güey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
¿Tienes fotos de eso?
What did you do?
I bleached my hair like tips because like it was
Yourself?
like a thing. Yeah. Well, my mom like did the mix,
Okay.
and I just put like a little bit.
Like a box dye or what? Like you
It-
just bought it and then mixed it.
I don't even know what she bought. Like, cause she
Probablemente sí.
no,
Yeah,
'cause
right.
she does her thing.
Okay.
Like she does her own hair and like stuff
Okay.
like that. 'Cause she went
Ah,
to
¿en serio?
see,
No
and
sabía.
she used to cut my hair when I was little,
Oh, wow.
and growing up. But then it got to a point where like, yeah, mijito, like go pay.
Like, go do it. Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna cut like bye. Like me cortas el
She's
pelo.
like, I'm
Conchudo,
over
me
it.
saliste.
No, for real.
Yeah, like my mom would cut my hair till like I was about, I want to say like in
Ayer-
middle school. In middle school until one time like, I don't know. I think I started doing it with like I just shaved my hair, my
Oh,
head.
wow.
that
Estaba
was
loco.
it. Not shave it, but like
You buzzed it
yeah,
off.
buzzed
Like it was
it.
like a buzz
she
cut.
had all the machines and stuff, and it was like a bet because I was in. There was like baseball, and then she got all upset, and then she was like, "Dude, I'm not cutting your hair. Like, do whatever you want." But no, like she got to a point where she didn't wanna do it. So that's when I started going to hairstyle. I mean, a hairstylist.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, right? A hairstylist.
Well, there's different ones. I guess now they all kind of fall into the same category just because licenses and stuff changed. But there's barbers and there's cosmetologists. So
That's
barbers do only, well, not necessarily only men, but usually men's haircuts.
Yeah.
And the difference is that barbers get to use a blade and cosmetologists do not.
Oh, shit.
If I'm not mistaken, it just changed. So even barbers receive a cosmetology license. Like I believe it's under the same category now, which kind of, I guess, is a good thing because now cosmetologists are allowed to use a blade.
Okay. So
Don't quote me. I think that
think-
was the change. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, things change all the time. So you were into the
Chi Academy.
Chi Academy, and it was here in Laredo. So you signed up for it, and how long is that?
It's usually, I want to say 13 to 15 months. So the 15 months is the max. They give you a contract. You go in, they're like, okay, well, this is how many hours you need. So it's by the hour. So it's like a job. You get there, you clock in, right?
Oh, shit, okay.
So until you
But you
accumulate
pay.
yeah.
You pay.
Well, unless you have financial aid or anything
okay,
like
okay,
that.
cool.
But so you clock in, right? And when you reach your 1,500 hours, again, at the time, I believe now it's 1,000. So like it went down.
Shit, it got easier.
Which I felt like a type of way about because I was in beauty school for that many hours.
So like, what year did you get your license?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
don't
gonna be
know.
4 years, so I don't know. Let's not.
No, I'm saying like you're gonna be like, what year did you get your
Oh,
license? Oh,
so I
you
know
were?
I know how much easier it was
Yeah,
for them.
yeah.
No, and it's not so much that it's easier. Look, to be honest, like I was telling everybody that you're never really ready. The way that you become ready is gaining experience, messing up, doing something wrong that you learn from.
Dude, that's beautiful because that's true. Like, because I remember, and it's something that I would say a lot, because the people are like, dude, I have so many years in experience, of experience. And I'm like, dude, I don't care about your years. I want to know how many deals you've been through, or like
Mm-hmm.
in this case,
Yeah.
how many like haircuts have you done?
Yeah.
Because you probably did 3. You have 3 years of experience, but you've only done 3, haircuts, or you've
Yeah.
only done your family members. It's
Example, they come
yeah.
to me and then they ask for a perm. I don't do perms,
Okay.
So they're like, oh, do a perm on me. And I'm be like, I've been doing hair for going on 5 years now, but I don't specialize in perms, so I'm probably not going to be the best perm.
Yeah. But so then, then you have experience because not only the years maybe, but also the amount of people that you've helped with.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I'll get to it, but I want to know a little bit more like how beauty school is. So, because I've had some friends that have gone through beauty school,
Mhm.
but I've never really asked them. So,
Do you know anybody that has finished?
Well,
Or do they usually?
Well, I know the only person I know is
My
tu
sister-in-law.
cuñada.
Your sister?
In-law.
Sister-in-law?
Ah, sí, Marifer.
Okay. And what does she specialize in, or what does she do?
Right now she's hairstyle.
Hair?
Yeah, she...
Te peina, okay.
Sí, también sabe de
Because that's another
cortes.
thing, right? Hay
Sí.
gente que no se especializa en peinar.
It's just, I guess it's just wherever you feel the most creative,
Okay.
And that's where you kind of like, because once you get your license, when you go take your test, you have to do everything, So, but once you have your license, you get to choose whatever you want to specialize
How's
in.
the test? Like you prepare for it? There's like a prep.
In Chi, they do like a practice run with you.
Okay.
I know most schools don't do that. They don't have to do that either.
Okay.
But they'll give you, because there's a practical and a written, right? So the written exam, they have like a lot of them. Honestly, that one's kind of common sense. If
Like
you don't pass that
ABC.
one, it's kind of like, are
You
you
don't-
meant to be in the industry, And then the practical one is the one that's like really nerve-wracking. Just because like there's like proctors and stuff, they're looking at you, you're under pressure. Any little thing you do wrong can either give you a point, or wrong or right, either
Yeah.
gives you a point or removes a point.
But how is it like? You have a live person there?
Yeah, so like let's say you walk in, right, and there's like 6 stations, right? And then then there's 6 people taking the test, and let's say per proctor there's 3 people. So there's 2 proctors in the room. So there's 2 people walking around observing everything that you're doing. So if I do something wrong, they write on their paper.
Yeah, but like, what are you?
What is it that we're doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I guess all the
Like on what?
the
Like
basics,
a mannequin?
A mannequin.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So it's not like a live person.
No,
like-
the only time
Live.
you're working on a live person is for the manicure part. So you have to take
Oh.
a model.
Oh shit! So you know how to do the manicure?
Yeah.
part.
So when I took my test, my model was my sister. So I
Oh,
took my
okay.
sister. She's only allowed there. That's the first part of the test, because as soon as you're done, they get out of the room.
Okay.
You can't talk to the person. You can't do anything. So you do the whole manicure, and then like they get out, and then that's it.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Shit! So I didn't know that.
Sí, yo tampoco.
So I can tell my haircut lady that she can do my nails or whatever.
Well, yeah, but what if that's not what she specializes in?
Yeah, but like
Sí.
she knows what it is. like-
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sí.
And then, because there's everything. There, like you mentioned right now, barbers too. So cosmetology school is not the same thing as barber school.
No.
Or
There are some schools, for example, PCA here in Laredo, Professional Cosmetology Academy, they have both programs. So they had both barber, they had cosmetologist, right? And so the way that works is you choose what you want to do. Again, I don't know how it is now because things did change.
Yeah.
But when I did go and get information once because I was interested in being a barber, and I went, and they still didn't offer the crossover program. So crossover is when you have one license already.
You have credits basically
Yeah.
that count. for the other
So
one.
instead of going for 500 hours, I would only have to go in for 3.
Oh shit! Okay.
So it's different, but I forgot what the question was.
Do you think? Well, no. The difference you just
Yeah.
answered it. Like, is there a difference? I didn't know there was a like a different school. But so the barbers, because I've never really been to a barber, but people are like, dude, it's like a different thing.
It's a whole different world.
Yeah, but why though? Because of what they specialize or what? You been to a barber?
Yeah, growing up, I always went to a barber.
To a barber?
En Laredo.
Yeah.
No
What?
ibas a con la señora a cortar el pelo, ibas con un barbero.
Sí. Don Martín.
Pero qué la
Don Martín.
Sí.
Don Martín.
Shout out Don Martin. We miss you.
Um,
Wherever you are.
Sí, no, sí era diferente porque en ocasiones, o sea, como cuando se iba a la cacería, íbamos a una estética a veces también en Nuevo y sí era diferente. Más que nada en las herramientas, como lo de la
The
navaja,
tools, yeah.
o sea, siempre lo que era preparar lo del cabello, que si cuadrado, redondo, cosas así.
Yeah.
Because it's
It's just like
fucking blade,
details.
like on your neck.
It's details. It's the way like a barber will maybe make it look sharper. You know, it's a different look.
Because barber, I'm thinking beard.
Okay.
Is that right? Or
They do.
Yeah, they do the warm towel and then, help with shaving
Yeah,
or...
Because ¿cuánto te
like
duran
grooming.
unas, o sea, iba a decir una cerveza, no sé qué.
The beard.
No, pues no
Una-
mucho.
¿Cuánto te dura una cerveza? Una beer. No, ¿cuánto te dura?
Not long.
Fíjate, yo creo que, o sea,
Pero es que hay que ir al barbero. Bueno, siento yo, no sé.
Do you trim it yourself?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
Con razón. Nah, no es cierto.
Dude, no,
She's
I've
like,
never...
we could tell. I'm kidding.
Uy, ya, no, bueno, está bueno. No va a ser nada.
Came for you.
Pero bueno, entonces, no, de veras nunca he dejado que alguien me haga nada
Your beard?
en mi cerveza. Y entonces, cuando, o sea, porque me pongo a pensar así que, chinga, pues al otro día me va a salir más, o sea, me voy a tener que hacer algo otra vez, siento yo.
Oh,
Al
yeah.
menos que la tengas ya larga y pues, no sé,
How often do you go get a haircut?
every month,
And every time you get a haircut, do you trim your beard again? Or how often do you trim your beard?
every day.
Every day you trim your beard?
I mean, because I leave it at a certain level.
Okay.
So, like,
You don't want it to get longer than that.
I mean, it's just, I've done it before, like, I let
Yeah.
it grow out. But, I just feel like I just leave it like that.
Okay.
Like, I have a little routine in the morning where I shave, like, the top part of my
Okay.
teeth.
So it always looks clean.
Yeah, and then, like, on the
On the
bottom.
bottom? Mm-hmm.
Like, I trim it, or, like, I shave down here, and then, yeah, the rest is the beard trimmer.
Yeah.
And that's it. I just use one level everywhere, and then I'm done.
And so it's practically the same thing, but I get it done by somebody. So me, I'm in the industry, so I always like to look good, right?
Uh-huh.
So I get my haircut every Friday. Every Friday I have a set schedule with my barber at 5 p.m. Every Friday at 5 p.m. I'm at the barber shop.
Wow.
Always. So I go in and I get my haircut. What are you gonna do? Same thing. I used to change it up like super often, but now like he just knows. So I keep my beard longer, right? Obviously some hairs grow more, some are like sticking out. So then his job is to make it look clean.
Yeah.
You know? So he goes in there and he's like, oh, I'm gonna trim a little bit here. I'm gonna go a little bit there. You know?
Or the mustache, because sometimes like, you have the mustache where like some hairs grow. a
Where
little
they
longer.
grow down, yeah.
Yeah.
And so he cleans it up. And then like for example, this is like my biggest pet peeve right now. Whenever I eat, I can like bite into something and then I notice
Yeah.
like a hair in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Wow.
so next time I go, I'm like, hey, can you trim these for me? Because since I never like pass like a number through this,
Yeah.
it's sculpted. So instead of you
Oh,
passing
so
a
he does
number,
different.
yeah, so he'll brush it down, right? And then he'll like put a comb over it and then pass some sheens, you know? And then
So every hair is a different level.
is a different size, but the way that it naturally grows out makes them all look even.
Damn, dude. I mean, I've never been to a barber. I might try it out, but I'm gonna probably let it grow
Mm-hmm.
and then see what they can do with it. I don't know. I'm gonna be,
Yeah,
Te
do
vemos
that.
aquí el próximo
Yeah,
mes.
and then send me a picture
Sí.
dude. But I don't know if I would go every
every week.
week. I mean,
I mean, you don't have to. It's not necessary. Yeah.
because they
I-
charge you the same price every week.
Yeah,
Pues sí.
Because it's like I'm just basing it off like on my
like what you pay.
Well, because it's like a standard price, right?
Uh-huh.
But like I'm thinking, it's like, dude, you just cut my hair not too long ago. But it's the same amount of work. So
I
Maybe-
go
I
every
don't
Friday
know.
and I pay $50.
damn.
So
dude.
every Friday I pay $50.
And what's this?
Wow.
Okay, so that brings me to a good question. Is it bad manners, or are you expected to tip? I mean, I tip. I just
You're not
yeah.
expected to tip, but it's appreciated. You know, like
Right.
when I always tip just because I'm in the industry, so I like when they tip me. Also, I always feel like when they're doing a service, you know, like it's somebody else. It takes time, you know, and a lot of the times people ask me, why don't you cut guys' hair, you know? And I always say, well, what my men's haircut is gonna be $25, right? That's like the average price, 25, 30 right now.
Okay.
You take 1 hour. If you know how to time yourself, because some people don't. If you're just starting, maybe it takes you an hour and a half. Maybe you're nervous because someone came in and they're asking for something you've never done before.
Yeah.
You know, but average, like my barber takes about, sometimes I'll get there late and he'll finish in 30 minutes. You know, 30 minutes to an hour. But I have an hour like reserved for my appointment. Yeah. So he starts and he finishes, and the next person is there. The next person comes. You know.
Yeah.
So it's appreciated to tip just because obviously they're taking their time to perfect everything that you like, the details.
Because I'm thinking like, okay, well, you're already charging me a set price, so I'm thinking maybe that's already included. I always tip, but I don't know if I'm tipping good. I don't know. How do you know if you're tipping good?
Usually a percentage, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
I tip my barber $10. You know, it's 40, and then I give him 10, so I pay 50.
It's like 20%,
yeah,
more or less. I don't know, but
it doesn't have to be a lot, you know.
Yeah.
I have clients who come, they tip me $5. I appreciate it just as much. My biggest tip has probably been like $150.
Damn, dude.
You know,
That's
someone that was so grateful.
It.
They had a bad experience with somebody else. They come to me. Oh my God, I'm so grateful for what you did to me, because they know what a bad experience is. Yeah. And so then they appreciate you a little bit more. They learn to appreciate what it is that you're offering.
Like a good person that knows what they're doing.
Y por ejemplo, donde tú trabajas, ¿es tu salón o tú trabajas
No,
en un
el salón es de mi amiga y hay diferentes cuartos. Entonces en el salón pues yo rento mi cuarto. So yo nada más pago mi renta y todo lo demás es para mí. Yo lo único que gasto es en mi producto, mis herramientas, si ocupo algo nuevo, productos como para styling y eso, foils, todo eso. Entonces, pues está bien porque nomás pago mi renta y ya está ahí. Pero eso es para las personas que ya tienen su clientela. Si apenas vas empezando, entonces se batalla mucho porque pues que sí no voy a tener clientes la otra semana.
Sí.
Entonces se batalla un poquito más.
Y ahí hacen de todo, o sea,
sí.
Hay gente...
pues cada persona se especializa en lo que quiere, ¿verdad? Pero ahí donde estoy yo está una nail tech que se dedica nada más a uñas. Y luego pues estoy yo, que soy hair colorist. Está mi amiga Erika, ella también es hair colorist. Ella hace extensiones, yo no hago extensiones. Y luego está mi amiga Bere. Bere hace, por ejemplo, perms. Yo no hago perms. Pero ella también hace color.
Entonces ahí es de todo para que quieras.
Yeah, so everybody does something different. The good thing is we've all worked together for a long time. So we kind of like work well together. And if I know somebody that wants something done, oh, go to her. Oh, come to me.
Yeah.
So we help each other out.
Nice, dude. I don't know. I've never done... Tú dices que te has hecho la barba, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Y nunca me toca, más que el pelo, nunca me he hecho nada en la barba o en las cejas. Siempre me han dicho de que las señoras de que se nota que tienen un chingo de ansias de que hacer
¿Te quiere hacer algo en la ceja?
De que,
No, quitarte una para que te dejes jugar con la otra.
De que, mijito, déjame... No, te va a dar bien. De que no, señora, no me toque nada de la cara.
Sí,
y de
estaría
que,
padre pasarle la cera a tu ceja.
no, sí, hay unas que sí, pero es que duele ese pedo. De que no,
Pues
güey,
sí,
no,
sí
ahorita
duele.
no.
Bueno, yo nunca o sea, pues como saben, yo siempre me he rasurado, literal, nomás me estoy dejando la barba crecer nomás para nomás, pero yo me rasuraba pues diariamente, o sea,
Todos los días.
todos los días me rasuraba, o sea, hasta hace poco. Pero la primera vez que me rasuré ahí, o sea, sí me duró más que lo que me dura cuando yo me rasuraba, pero era porque también they shave against the grain.
They get a closer shave to your skin.
shit.
If you try doing that on yourself, you're probably going to slice your skin open.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And from shaving on a daily basis, es que I used to work in kitchen, so we always have to clean shaven, so en las mañanas era de que agua y llegaba, o sea, con un
razor burn.
toilet paper, like.
Because you clear yourself, you're in, pues they specialize in that.
Cómprate un rasurador mejor, güey.
No, pues
A
las 3 de la mañana.
No, but also look, like his hair is more coarse on his beard. So he has a different type of hair. So then whenever he shaves, he's probably more aggressive because he's like, it's not going anywhere. But it's because his hair is more coarse. You know, so it's
Like
different.
thicker.
It's little details that we don't, if you're not in the industry, you obviously don't pay attention to them. But it's good because that's why they're here. To do something that you can't do on
I'm
yourself.
gonna try it out. I don't know.
I'll send you a few. I'll recommend you some.
I'm gonna let it grow and then they can fucking sculpt
Do
it.
whatever. Yeah.
And then yeah, I've been growing my hair, my eyebrows for a while. My whole life.
Qué weird.
No,
My
pero
whole
sí,
life.
güey. Hay unas que sí están bien largas. Y me dice la gente
Ah,
que,
sí.
güey, no, neta, de que de repente la veo acá y digo, "Madre, sí". But I do take it off. But that's cool, dude. I mean, I'm learning because like all of this, I mean, creo que todo mundo se tiene que cortar el pelo, hacerse algo.
Yeah.
Entonces, I mean, it's part of our lives if not every week, every month,
Yeah.
at least.
I mean, I have
most
clients I
people-
see once a year, you know? They don't
Okay.
necessarily have to come every single time. They come once a year.
I mean, yeah, and it's repeat business, and they keep coming to you for a reason.
Yeah.
One thing I was mentioning before we started is like, siento que también, like hairstylists,
Mm-hmm.
¿cómo se dice en español?
¿Estilistas?
Estilistas, o sea, saben todo el chisme de todo.
Ah, sí.
Yeah.
¿verdad?
I'm like a part-time therapist.
Right?
Sí.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, ahí le cuentan todo a la señora de que, no, ¿y cómo te fue? ¿Y qué dicen y esto? ¿Y cómo te va? Y de repente...
Con madre.
And then sometimes you get like two people that are like enemies, you know? So then this
True.
one tells you the chisme about this one, and then this one tells you the one about this one. So then you know both sides of the story, you
And
know?
you're like, no,
and you're like,
you're wrong.
uh-huh. Yeah, you just put the pieces together.
But you can't say anything. So
No, I just listen.
Dude, that's badass.
Yeah.
So really, they do. I mean, they pour their heart
Yeah,
out.
they
sometimes.
go.
Yeah.
A lot of the times it's more so about the bond, you know. It's not really like people. The reason why people come back is not so much because of what you do on their hair. It's
Sí.
because of the bond that they create with you.
Totalmente estoy de acuerdo.
So, for example, me, I only do, if I'm doing hair color, I only do 2 people a day. So I have an appointment from 11 to 3 and then another from 3 to 7, right? And so everyone's like, why do you only do 2? And I'm like, well, because I'm going to take my time with each one. I'm going to provide the best experience that I can for them.
Yeah.
They're going to appreciate the time that I'm like giving them, and all the attention is to them. They love it, you know?
Yeah.
And so then, oh my God, I could have
So it's
done the
quality.
most. I could have done the most simple service on them, but they're so happy because they came to de-stress, they came to vent, they came to obviously get like a look change, you know, whether it's a haircut, a styling, color, or whatever. And I have had clients even cry in my chair, you know, like so.
Wow.
It's or even them cry over what I did. You know, maybe they were feeling insecure and then they came into the salon. For a change, I did something that maybe they feel pretty now. I had a client like last month or a month and a half ago, and she cried in my chair, and I was kind of like taken back, but she was like, I think she had a baby, and so she kind of like wasn't feeling herself.
Postpartum.
Yeah. And so she was like, thank you so much. Like it gave me like the boost of confidence that I needed, you know? So a lot of the times they go, and it's because of the bond that they create with the person that they keep coming back.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, I feel like it's true, dude. Like, I mean, what's like the craziest makeover you've done? Like, have you ever had one of those like, dude, I remember this lady came in bad.
Yeah.
And then turned her
Yeah.
around.
I've had a few.
Yeah.
I've had a few. So a lot of the times, like when they come in and they have maybe like a bad job, you know, or something like that, it's usually because something they might have done to themselves at home, and then they don't tell the stylist. You know,
Iba a
for
decir,
example,
los DIYers, ¿no?
yeah,
Son los
they
que-
do it. They do it to themselves at home. Then they cover it up, and then they're like, "Oh, have you ever dyed your hair before?" Yeah, but a long time ago. You know. And then I'm like, "Okay, are you sure?" Yeah. How long is a long time ago? Like last year. I'm like, you know, your hair only grows 6 inches a year, and if your hair's all the way here, then only the top 6 inches are natural. Everything else probably has the color in it.
Yeah.
Or like they'll lie to you and they'll say like, "No, I've never touched it before," and then so then I'm going into the process as somebody who has never colored their hair before.
Yeah.
And then I open the foil, I look at the bleach, and it's like,
It
your hair
leaked in
says
there.
otherwise, you know?
Yeah.
So I always tell them, like, be as honest as you can with me, because that will determine like what I'm gonna go in doing on your hair.
Why would they lie though? Like, why would you want to say
Les da
like?
pena.
Because they get embarrassed maybe that they
Oh,
try
that
to
they
do
fucked
something,
up.
or
Yeah.
that, or like, because people will complain about like, oh, nobody wants to pay these days and X, Y, and Z, you know? And so people will box at home. Luckily, like, thanks to social media, TikTok in specific, like, I feel like educated people so much on how bad box dyeing your hair is, like doing stuff to yourself at home, you know, because the reason why those things are affordable.
Box dyeing means like the box.
The
that you
boxes,
buy.
like at Walmart, Target,
Yeah.
like HEB, wherever. The reason why they're bad for you is because it's the cheapest way to make the ingredient that I'm using on you. And so a lot of the times using one of those ingredients with one of my ingredients, they can cause a chemical reaction, you know? And so then the foil starts smoking. And it's like, well, I thought you told me you had virgin hair. If you had virgin hair, this wouldn't be happening. You know, so it a lot goes into it, and it's really hard for you to nowadays. Like, I honestly don't get them too much. I just did a box color client a couple of days ago, but I don't get them too often anymore. When I used to get them so much back then, and that's like a super big thing.
So you're seeing that like things are happening, like there's changes.
Yeah.
People are getting better
Because they're being educated.
Okay. Dude, I remember right now when you talk about like how people vent and stuff. I remember, dude, most of the time, like lately when I go cut my hair, dude, like I fall asleep. Dude. Like, have you ever had people fall asleep?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm like there, like super relaxed, and like she's like giving me piojito.
Yeah, I've had a client. I mean, they go to relax, you know. So like, I don't mind. I had a client I was foiling, and she was like,
yeah.
you know, and I'm foiling, so I'm applying bleach. One wrong move, it goes in the wrong place. And then that's your fault. That's not my fault anymore, you know. So I don't know. I ended up firing like a client because she would fall asleep in my chair and then complain about something that would happen. But she would fall asleep and then she would like put her hand, and so she had all the foils in, and so she was squishing them, so the bleach would like spread. So then she would get like spots, right?
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, okay, well now I have to take my time to fix that. A mistake that you made because you chose to go out last night and get home till 4 a.m. knowing your appointment was at 11. And so now you're falling asleep in my chair.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm trying to do my best work. It doesn't matter how good I am. But if you are doing like something to mess with my routine or my application process or your processing time, then that's your fault, you know?
Yeah.
And so she came and it happened a few times and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take this client anymore. She doesn't allow me for me to give my best work.
Have you ever had people
Groseros, groseras.
groseras? No, iba a decir que tienen la cita y no llegan.
Yes, but that's why I have deposits now and a cancellation policy, a late policy, policy for everything, because that protects me. So they give their deposit. If they don't show up, they lose their deposit. If they show up 15 minutes late, they lose their deposit. If they forget to reschedule, they want to reschedule the day before, they lose their deposit. So it's just because people don't know how to respect your time anymore, you know? Because it does happen a lot. But again, I feel like that all has to do with how much experience and what you have to offer to the people. Like you can't just, oh, I just got my license yesterday. Okay, I'm gonna ask for $300 deposit.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't work like that. I tell everybody, you kind of like build yourself up. You know, you start with where you are, and then you eventually get there. You can't just overnight be charging. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, like sometimes like, hey, do it for free, try it out, and people are gonna recommend you if you're good at it. So, I mean, that's awesome, dude. I've learned a lot, really, and I'm congrats on all the success. I know, you know, you've been, I mean, here almost going on to 5 years, you said?
Yeah.
I know I have a lot more questions, but before, que se me desmaya mi amigo Rafita porque le falta una más. Un refill. Let's keep talking. But before that, I want to invite everybody at home. I hope you're liking what you're learning. I'm learning a lot. I think it's interesting. And but before we go on, los invito a que hagan un refill de voladita, ya sea cervecita, como le digo, lo que quieran tomarse. Acompáñenos. Ahorita regresamos. Ahora sí, regresamos, everybody. We're back. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you're liking it so far. Remember to follow us, like it, everything that you know you need to do here at What the Peg. Remember, sustainability speaks louder. And today, we just got a refill. I hope you got a refill at home. Everybody's, we're out for the home stretch here. And we were catching up with Victor, nuestro invitado Victor. nos ha estado compartiendo todo lo de cómo funciona lo de los estilistas, y cómo está la concentración en ciertas ramas y cómo desde cómo hasta un estilista te puede considerar un ¿cómo se dice? ¿Un consejero? No.
Ya, consejero.
Sí, que
Terapista.
te desahoga, un terapista que te desahogas de
Terapeuta.
hasta
No sé cómo se
que
dice.
la-
Ándale.
Terapeuta.
Es cierto.
Terapista no existe.
un masaje, no, eso no es
Masajista.
entonces, pero sí, estamos aquí de regreso. Muchas gracias otra vez, Víctor. Estamos aprendiendo bastante. Ahorita nos estábamos comentando de cómo tenemos unos amigos que no se saben rasurar y les empiezan a salir los granos. Voy a calarme, ir a un barbero, nunca he ido. Pero sí, una vez iba a ir. Bueno, fui y a mi hermano, pero mi hermano bueno, lo llevé, ya lo conocían ahí todos. Y pues mi hermano tiene autismo y entonces cuando yo estaba con él dije, no, pues que lo atiendan a él primero.
Sí.
Pues estaba con el barbero y pues le estaban ahí haciendo pues su corte y de repente pues un papá, otro cliente, llevó a un niño.
Ujú.
Y pues el niño andaba corriendo y mi hermano le pone el pie y pues, que alguien aplaque a ese niño y le metió el pie y pues sale el niño volando. Y yo de que chinga.
Ya no alcanzaste, te tuviste que ir.
Y yo de que, ¿sabes qué? Ya acabó.
Ya me voy.
Y yo fui de que, ¿por qué hiciste eso, Héctor?
Ya me tenía harto.
Y él de que bien confundido.
Dijo que lo aplacaran, yo lo aplaqué.
Y yo fui y le dije, me disculpé con el señor, de que, oye, antes de que agarre chingazos a mi hermano, de que discúlpeme, no. Y dijo, no, todo bien, no. Y el niño llorando.